What's going on, everybody? Everybody, welcome on in. We're gonna get ready to get this show started in just a moment. We got a lot to get to, and we're gonna have a whole lot of fun doing it. And so, got in just in time to get ready to start the show. So, we're gonna get ready to tighten up, and we're gonna have a good show. So, everybody, make sure, as you see on the bottom, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Definitely want to get at least 20 likes on the show. So make sure you spread the word, let everybody know. This is going to be not only live on YouTube, but also on the TNT Enforcers page on Facebook. So if you have access to that page, you could join there. Also, make sure you follow it on Instagram and on Twitter. I'll mention that in just a moment. But we're going to get ready to start the show and just letting everybody kind of come on in just a bit. AZ Mick, what's up? I see you there. And we're going to get ready to get this show started and get this road on the show. Hope everybody doing all right. What's up, big old Titan? Big O, what's going on? So we got a lot to get to. We got quite a bit to get to. Make sure y'all get some questions for Pick My Brain. So put those questions in your mind, and we are definitely going to have a good time going. Just getting the music. There we go. I've been scoping from the sideline, waiting for the right time to send the precious team to scrimmage. So I'm busting y'all. Welcome to City. We got this here. We got this here. We got this major city. So out your life, don't worry about it. See, we got this here. It's a brand new dance and it's about to go live. Tighten up, Nashville with the 615. Push it, tighten two steps, step to the right. Then you tighten two steps, step to the left. Blue jerseys everywhere. Going crazy, yeah, we got it on. Flipping out our beating on it like it's King Kong. Come there. It's about to get rough. Here come the train, y'all. Tennessee, tighten up. Let's get tightened up. Tighten up. Let's get tightened up. Stick it out my chest. You know it like it's King Kong. Stick it out my chest. You know it like it's King Kong. Two steps, step to the right. Then get tightened. Two steps, step to the left. Stick it out my chest. You know it like it's King Kong. Stick it out my chest. You know it like it's King Kong. D-E-N-N-E. E. Third down, come around, we about to shut down. And as always, we say good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody doing? Welcome into a brand new edition of Titans and Truth. I'm your man, Chris, a.k.a. Blue Enforcer. We're going to have a great show tonight. And I see everybody either joining us either on Facebook or on Facebook on the TNT Enforcers page or on YouTube. Definitely welcome y'all on in to the show and everything. And glad everybody could be here. And I'm going to go live for just a minute on Instagram for just a moment. Make sure y'all follow at Titans_N_Truth on Instagram and also on Twitter at TNT Blue Enforcer, as y'all can see right there scrolling underneath your screen. Shaolin Fantastic, what's going on? Coach Plays, what's going on? I haven't heard from you in a little while. Glad to see you. Welcome on in here. I see we got everybody, some people on Facebook. What's going on? Welcome in to the big show. We got quite a bit to get to, so we're going to go ahead and get that started. And glad that everybody is joining us. But we're going to get to the Titan news of the week. And, you know, it's really not just Titan news that we have going on. We got some major NFL news that's definitely going on as well. And we start with a familiar face, somebody that we're probably going to grow to love to despise. This guy. That would be, of course, the one and only Patrick Mahomes, who just happened this week to sign a 10-year, get this, $503 million super mega extension with 477 million, up to 477 million guaranteed. Let me tell y'all something about this deal. This is not just the biggest deal in NFL history. This is the biggest deal in pro sports history. This contract is bigger than any basketball player, any baseball player will ever get. And in this contract, even though they probably try to make it look like it's not as big of a deal as it is, it's a super mega deal. That basically means Patrick Mahomes is going to be making somewhere close to $50 million a year. Now, don't get me wrong. He's right now the best quarterback in the league today. Not of all time, but today. The dude's got a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl title. And I don't know how they're going to keep the rest of the team around, but they know they have a golden goose. They're going to hitch their wagon to him. Also, Rocky Yit, what's going on? I see on Facebook somebody said they're not worried about him. I see Titan Upload is here. What's going on, Titan Upload? Welcome in. You know, Coach Plays, everything is well. I'm glad to see you. Welcome in here. Let's see. Big old Titan says Tannehill contract not looking so bad now. Just need to draft a quality prospect that can take his spot eventually. I mean, yeah, we got basically 3 to 4 years with Tannehill, but I mean, that is a crazy deal. And as Coach Plays basically said, it's a team-friendly deal, which I got to go back and take a look. I mean, really break down the contract. But, I mean, it's a very interesting deal. I mean, there are baseball players who ain't getting that much money. I think the highest paid baseball player is getting a $420-something million contract on there. So he's getting more guaranteed money than fully contracted baseball players. That is something that is extremely interesting right there. So, I mean, hey, I can't believe the fact that the Chiefs shelled out that much money, but at the same time, if you're Patrick Mahomes, do you really blame him? I'd say the answer is absolutely not. I'm like, look, I'll say it right here and now. If they put that kind of money in front of me, and hold up, I want y'all to see my eyes when I say this. If the Chiefs offer me that kind of money, I'll say, let me think about it. I'm in. It would have not even took me 1/1 millionth of a second to come to a decision. I would have took that money too and wouldn't have not thought twice about it. I mean, this contract is a huge deal. And I mean, it's pro sports history. And Dak is about to get, and now this makes Dak have a little bit more leverage. A little bit, not a lot. Patrick Mahomes has a Super Bowl ring. Dak does not. So, you know, Coach Plays basically said it's very interesting. You never see a 10-year deal in the NFL. The only time we've seen a 10-year deal was for a head coach. That's the only time you've seen that. So, we're definitely going to find out. We're going to find out if he's worth that money. We are definitely going to find out. And the Chiefs better win some Super Bowls, because if they don't, that contract's not going to mean a lot. But that is a huge mega deal. 10 years, $503 million, $477 million guaranteed, up to that amount. So Patrick Mahomes, he got that bag. I'll give that to him. He secured the bag of bags. And that is no doubt about it. I mean, 1 year of that contract is about 50 million, 50.3 million in 1 year. I'll be glad to take 1/100th of that amount of money. 1/100th is like $5 million, if I'm not mistaken. So, congrats to Patrick Mahomes. I think we would all take that money and not even think twice about it. Now, to the next story on our list, and that is, of course, we go back to Clowney Watch 2020. It is still going, y'all. You think that the Clowney thing is over. It's not. It is definitely not over. And I'm glad everybody's joining me here, either on the TNT Enforcers page or on YouTube. Make sure y'all go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I see we got about 16 people watching on. Make sure y'all share this show out. Make sure y'all share this show out to everybody. Want to get some likes up and everything, so let's keep that going. But Clowney Watch 2020 is still in full swing, and it is, it's getting interesting. And this is why. Because rumor had it, and Titan Upload even mentioned this, is that the Raiders are trying to get into the mix. They're trying to get into the conversation with Jadeveon Clowney. They're trying to get into the race. You remember last week I mentioned about the Cowboys and the Saints, but they don't really have a lot of money. I want to I'm going to try to see if I can pull up something. Bear with me for just a second, because there's a very important piece that helps us out. And, the Titans are still in the mix for Jadeveon Clowney, but I want y'all to check something out. Give me just a second. And so I may not be able to pull up the exact. I'm trying to pull it up because Paul Kaharski did an event. I don't have the exact second and minute, so I won't waste time with that. But the Titans are definitely in the mix for Jadeveon Clowney. And, even though the Raiders are trying to get in the mix, I think the Jets are pretty much out. I think the Seahawks are pretty much out too, because I think if he was going to go back to Seattle, he would have done it already. He definitely would have done it already. And even though the Raiders are in the mix, the Titans are in it too. They are not going. The Titans are not going away from this race. And J-Rob on his I don't know if this was today or yesterday. Thank Chris Frazier for putting it on the TNT Enforcers page. You can watch that interview with John Robinson and Paul Kaharski on Facebook, and he also did some off the record stuff on paulkaharski.com. If you are subscribed to that, you should check it out. And basically, the question was asked about Clowney. What are we thinking with Clowney and things like that? J-Rob basically said, I want to see him first. I want to see him in person. He's seen some of the videos on Twitter. So he's seen him working out. He has seen him try to, get in shape and everything and try to return from that core muscle injury. And so J-Rob is paying attention. He is paying big time attention to what's going on with Jadeveon Clowney. And he said it himself on that interview with Paul Kaharski. I definitely want to get him in face to face. Right now, with the way things are going with the coronavirus and the way everything is set up, you can't do physicals. J-Rob, before a move becomes official or a move happens, he wants to get Jadeveon Clowney in for a physical and to see him in person. So J-Rob sounded like he was in. He sounds like he is in, because let me tell you something. We all have watched the Titans. We all know how the Titans operate. We know that whenever there's a free agent that, comes out and everybody wants, that person to go to the Titans or something, usually the Titans either say they're interested or they end up signing that player, or they basically say, or somebody comes out and says, nah, don't expect no interest there. There's really no big time interest in that particular player. But in this instance, the Titans have had many times. Hey, Miss Margarita, how you doing? I see you up in here. Joseph Hawks, I see you up in here too. Many times the Titans have had a chance to just come out and say, we're not in the Clowney sweepstakes. We're not in all that. We're good with the team that we have. But they have yet to waver from it. They have never even said, well, we're out on Clowney or anything. You haven't heard any media. You haven't heard Kaharski. You haven't heard Glennon. You haven't heard TD even say that they're out on it. And remember, TD did I think a PFF podcast, and he basically said, I like the chances of the Titans signing Clowney. He also said it right here on this very show. He said, I like our chances of getting Clowney. I think it's a really good chance of getting Clowney. And I agree with that because, again, if Clowney was going to sign with another team, honestly, he would have done it by now. He would have done it by now. And if the Titans would have been out on a Clowney, they would have done that too. The Titans would have, media and the Titans would have shot this down just like that. But they haven't done that. They are still in the mix. They are very much in the mix, and I think they're the favorite. I think they're going to get them. Again, just like I said last week, it makes too much god darn sense. It makes too much sense. I mean, the stars are pretty much aligned. TD basically said it. Think about this. And J. Rob even was talking about it. Said, you get Athletic with Beasley, with Landry. You got Correa coming in. You got Daquan Jones. You got Jeffrey Simmons. And then you add Clowney as that big piece on the chessboard. So J-Rob is in. J-Rob is basically in, that they have to work Clowney out before they decide to sign him. And he basically wants to get Clowney in face-to-face and to do that physical. I think that's the only thing holding up the entire process. If they get Clowney in here for a physical, I guarantee you, they're not letting him leave without a contract. He's going to sign. That's going to happen. Again, the stars are aligned. You got the coach who coached his position group and was the defensive coordinator. Well, it wasn't their best year, the Texans wise, but he coached Clowney when he had his best year. You have Shane Bowen, who was in Houston coaching with him. You got the secondary coach, who also was there with Clowney. You got Clowney's mentor and best friend, Jonathan Joseph, on the team. I mean, it just makes too much sense, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, could it be any more obvious that this would work? And not to mention, and I believe Titan Upload and Mr. Titan talked about this on their show as well, is that, knowing the playbook. That's going to be a lot of problem with a lot of undrafted free agents and even some of the rookies that we drafted. You got to be able to pick up the playbook. That's going to be very important. With Clowney, he ain't going to have to really do a lot to pick up the playbook. I mean, Vrabel's defense, he was in Houston when Vrabel was running the defense. So picking up this playbook is not going to be hard for Clowney at all. So I think it's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I know I said on, I want to say Tennessee Titans Weekly last week on the Chop It Up show, I said about 60%. Hearing this from J-Rob today, I'm ratcheting it up to 75%. I think it's going to happen. It has to happen. And if Clowney gets on the Titans, I think that makes us a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and that makes guys like Lamar Jackson, that makes guys like Patrick Mahomes, that's gonna make guys like Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs, that's gonna make Morningweg, offensive coordinator of the Ravens. That's gonna keep them up at night because they're gonna have to figure out how to block this guy. And if you try to take him away, you're going to leave Landry one-on-one. He's going to get sacks. And you definitely don't want to leave Jeffrey Simmons one-on-one. He'll rip that offensive line up. He'll rip any offensive line apart. I mean, if you go back and take a look at some tape, Jeffrey Simmons did some work on Quinn Nelson, who was supposed to be the best offensive lineman in the league. And Jeffrey Simmons put work in on him. Plain and simple. So, getting Clowney would be a big deal. So I like the look of that. I definitely like the look of that. So I'm going to go right back up a little bit. And I know we still have about a week. Actually, and I'm trying to look at my calendar as we speak to try to come up with the right time. I want to say we have exactly 1 week. Yeah, exactly. We have exactly 1 week of a deadline to figure out if we're going to just let Henry play out on the franchise tag or are we going to sign him to a long-term deal. That's something that we're going to be definitely having to monitor as well. So, I mean, hey, this could be a really, really this is going to be a really, really big few weeks for the Tennessee Titans with training camp coming up and everything. TITANS says, man, going to need to add a 10-year contract. Yeah, that's true. Joseph Rodriguez says, what if Ryan Tannehill won the Super Bowl with us? Would he have the same deal as Patrick Mahomes? Probably not the exact same deal, but, I mean, he got paid pretty good. He's already getting paid almost around close to $30 million a year. So, I mean, that's going to be something important. Coach Play says, to me, if you work a player out by himself and give him a physical and test him for COVID, there's no need that teams can't work a player out. I agree. I mean, I don't know what's going on with why people cannot get workouts in. I mean, you're letting, some people back in the facility and things like that. If you have a guy just by himself with him, the doctor, and the general manager, I think that's enough. If you can bring in one single player, I don't think that's going to be too bad. And anything like that. TITANS says, I'd take Snacks Harrison in a heartbeat if we can't get Clowney. I would take Marcus Golden in a hot second if we can't get Clowney, or Griffin. And then Coach Play says, very good point. If the Titans were out, they would have simply said it to be done with all the questions. Yeah, and the Titans don't like saying a lot. They like to talk a lot without saying anything. And if they were out on Clowney, they would have said it already. Coach Play said J-Rob is being very smart on his take on this Clowney matter. You can't give him that big money without a proper physical. Agreed. Definitely agree. And I could tell him and TITANS are having a pretty good conversation. I see we got Al Pearson here. Al, what's going on? I got your stuff coming up to you. Drumstar says Clowney also wants to play for a Super Bowl contender. That makes even more sense. And I agree with that. Minnesota Titan, what's going on? He says, if we don't pick up Clowney, would the Jarrell Casey trade become one of the worst offseason decisions, especially considering we only got a 7th for him? Remember, that 7th this year now becomes a 6th next year because we traded that 7th-round pick, got a 6th-rounder. That's going to basically raise a lot of questions if we don't do something with that money. That is a very good point, indeed. Let's see. But, I mean, I agree with that. If Clowney wanted to sign, he would have already. Plain and simple. That's basically what I would say about that. But hoping, and actually, I forgot to add something. So if all goes well, we could very well, theoretically, if all goes well, we could be seeing this. That is the Madden cutout of Jadeveon Clowney in a Titans jersey. Or the back end, of course, this is where the tweet that was leaked out with Clowney in a Titans jersey. So this very well could be the picture of Jadeveon Clowney in a Tennessee Titans uniform. And if that comes to fruition, what a beautiful day that is going to be. Mr. Titan, I see you've come to join us. Welcome in. And by the way, y'all make sure y'all check out Titan Upload from this week. Him and Mr. Titan did the show, and was a very good show. And also, shout out to Mr. Titan. He did a couple of interviews. He did one with a UFC fighter, a UFC legend. I believe his last name was Trigg. I can't remember, Mr. Titan, but make sure you give me the name so we keep that up to date. Al Pierce says, and we're about to get into pick my brain in just a second. And Tighten Upload, you're absolutely right. We ain't got to worry about Cleveland because yesterday the news came out, and this is on NFLnetwork.com, that the Cleveland Browns have went ahead and restructured Olivier Vernon's contract. So that basically has kicked them out of the conversation, which tells me because they could have signed Clowney already. They had the money. But I think what they're going to do is that they're going to go ahead and keep Vernon, and they're going to get ready to pay Myles Garrett a mega deal. That's what I think the Browns are about to do. They're about to pay Myles Garrett. So I think the Browns are out. I think the Jets are out because they're not a contender. The Cowboys and the Saints don't have no money. So I honestly think it's between us and Seattle, and I think we have the go-ahead, the heads up, because, again, if Clowney wanted to go back to Seattle, they would have signed him already. They already got his medical history. They could re-sign him. They know what he's got going on. So that's that on that. But everybody, it's time to get to your favorite and mine. It's called Pick My Brain. Pick My Brain. And y'all know what to do. We did a little bit of this on Tennessee Titans Weekly and had a good time with that. So get your questions out. I want to know what y'all think and everything. So let me get some questions and let's go ahead and rock this. I'll probably take a few questions and then we'll definitely keep going. We'll probably take about maybe 5 or 6 questions and then we'll definitely keep going. I know Al Pierce said, wonder if J-Rob will use the threat of a Chris Jones trade to get Clowney's camp to get serious in contract talks. Now, I was watching, I believe it was Chat Sports, maybe about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago. And they listed the Titans, I want to say it's the number 4 or number 3 team that could trade or get Chris Jones, the defensive tackle from the Chiefs. Now, I guarantee you, with this mega deal that Mahomes signs, Chris Jones ain't going back. Even if he plays on the franchise tag, he ain't getting re-signed by the Chiefs. That's pretty much a lock, in my opinion, because they don't have the money. They do not have the money because now they've paid Mahomes. They just gave a big contract extension to Tyreek Hill last year. So you got a lot of money tied up in Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes. Eventually, they're not going to be able. I don't know if Kelsey has a big deal already, but if so, if not, they're not going to be able to pay Kelsey much longer either. So eventually, they're going to have to gut that team a little bit more to justify the paying of Patrick Mahomes. And one guy that's going to be out there, and what's up, Lame 2? What's going on? Billy Scott, how you doing? It's going to be Titans Mafia. What's going on? And it's going to be Chris Jones. And I don't think they'll use it as a scare tactic necessarily for Clowney's camp. But, I mean, I can see it happening where they say, you know what? If y'all not serious about signing with us, we can go ahead and go get Chris Jones right now and be just fine. So, I mean, I can see them playing a little hardball, but maybe not much, in my honest opinion, with that. excuse me, Billy Scott, do you think Chris Jones can fit into our defense? Absolutely. I don't see that being a problem at all. I mean, if you have Daquan Jones, Chris Jones, and Jeffrey Simmons, that's not a bad defensive line because Daquan Jones is pretty decent. He's solid. I'll say that he's very, very solid of a football player. But if you add Jones on one, Chris Jones on one side, Jeffrey Simmons on another side, what? And then you got Landry and Vic Beasley coming off the edge. It's not too many offensive lines that's going to be able to block all those guys. I mean, I just don't see it. And that's just going to open up the lane for Rashaan Evans and Jayon Brown to come on through and make some tackles or make some big plays. And that's going to make the secondary's life a lot easier, too. Adoree Jackson might actually be able to get his hands on the football and take a pick. So that might be something there. But I'm glad everybody's here to join us. What's going on? Like I said, Lame Tube, I ain't seen you in a while, so glad to see you. Let's see. Yeah, so I see some good conversation going on. Let's see. Joseph says, where do you think Delanie Walker would go, or is he just going to retire? Number one, I think he should retire as a Titan. I think they'll do something where they bring him back, sign a one-day contract. He retires as a Titan. I think that's what will happen. I just think that's a respectable thing to do. As far as where he could go, that's a pretty good question. I think Delanie Walker deserves to go to a team that's in contention for a ring. I mean, AFC wise, I mean, yeah, the Ravens, they already got a bunch of tight ends. I would rather him go to the NFC, maybe to the Saints or something like that, maybe to Green Bay, something like that. I could very well see him going back to San Francisco and go out there with Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, that's something that could be possible too. So, I mean, that's something that could definitely be a possibility. So, I mean, I could definitely see Delanie going to a winner and finishes his career, and I think he'll come back here, retire as a Tennessee Titan, just like what LT did with the Chargers. Something like that. So that's something that I think I would see. Titan Upload hopes that Henry gets signed by the 15th. Not looking too good. And y'all follow Miss Margarita. Y'all heard her. Hit that like button. We got a good conversation going. Let's keep that going. Definitely with that. So let's see. But I think Chris Jones could definitely get in. Kyle G saying the Patriots could use Walker. True. That's true. As much as I hate the New England Patriots, I could see him and Cam getting along. I could definitely see that. Billy, I appreciate you on that question. Definitely. So thank you so much for that. We'll take a few more questions, and then we'll keep going into the high-low. Let's see. But I think that if they can get Clowney or some defensive line help, I think we're set. I think we're in good shape. Excuse me. But I see Tennessee Titans Weekly up in here. What's going on? So all the guys are here, and I guarantee y'all, we talked about this on the Chop It Up show with Tennessee Titans Weekly. Expect a big show coming up right around before the season starts. Myself, Titan Upload, Mr. Titan, Tennessee Titans Weekly. I think we're all going to get together and do a prediction show. We're going to do a big prediction show with all of us on there, and we're going to probably talk about what we think the record is going to be for the Titans this year, how we think the Titans are going to do. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Al says, if one of our tight ends go down, do you see us bringing back Walker on short term? Now, let's see. I know we got Jonnu, we got Ferkser, we got Michael Pruitt. We got 3 tight ends. And I'm pretty sure they I can't remember if they have any other tight ends on the practice squad that are unrestricted free agent, undrafted free agents. Now, if something does happen like that, if it's a significant injury, I mean, I could theoretically see us going back to Walker saying, "Hey, we need your help," and I think Walker would come back. I could see that. Um, but it depends. I don't know if they have any new undrafted free agents. I would have to take a look and see who the undrafted free agents are for the Titans. And I might be able to pull that up. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can pull that up, and I'll see if they have um, any other tight ends, just in case if something like that does go down. You're absolutely right. That could happen. That could very well happen. Um, Let's see. Mr. Titan says Clay Matthews will be a nice pickup for veteran leadership because I know Billy Scott mentioned that. I mean, yeah. You know, Clay Matthews could be a nice fit if we don't get Clowney. But let's see. I'm going to try to see if they have. I'm pulling it up now on CBS Sports as far as any tight ends. I know they have a couple of receivers. Yes, they do have one tight end that was an undrafted free agent. Tommy Hudson from Arizona State is the only other tight end that I know of that they have. Thank you, Titan Up Low, for that. Also, Titan Up Low mentioned it. Happy birthday to Vic Beasley. Definitely. And also happy birthday to Logan Gillespie and also fellow enforcer LaShondra from Birmingham. Happy birthday to any Titan fans celebrating a birthday this month in July. And also, happy belated birthday to Miss Tracy Price from right here in Memphis, the Titans fan club of Memphis. I thank them for their support and everything. So happy birthday to Miss Tracy, my dear sister. DeAndre, what's up, bro? Blue Fire, indeed. So, and then Joseph comes in and says, if we sign a veteran quarterback for Ryan, who would it be? That's a good question. Because, I mean, Cam is gone. You still got Cap. I know Kaepernick is still out there. You know, I'm not sure of, I'm trying to see, I'm going to look and see if there are any other free agent quarterbacks that could be still on the market right now. I don't think RG3 is a free agent, but I'm looking now. I'm going to do a quick look. Let's see. I'm looking off a spot track right now, and we're going to get to the high-low in just a moment. And let's see. I'm looking right now at unrestricted free agent quarterbacks that are available. And I'm trying to see who's coming up. So give me just a second. Kaepernick is one. I see Titan Upload says Bortles. Hell no. There's no way I'm bringing in no Blake Bortles. You're kidding me. But you got guys, of course, and now I'm going straight off of the order that they have it. You got Drew Stanton, Josh McCown, Trevor Siemian, Deshaun Kaiser, Matt Moore, Joe Webb, Blake Bortles, Cody Kessler, Kyle Slaughter, Brandon Allen, Matt Sims, Josh Woodrum, Kyle Shermer, and Manny Wilkins. Not exactly a great list of quarterbacks that is out there. The only ones that sound any good that are out there is Kaepernick and maybe Matt Moore. Those are the only ones out there that I think could be any good. You know, Kyle Shermer would be a nice story. Come back to Vanderbilt. You know, he was just drafted last year, and and I believe was in Minnesota, and wasn't able to really cut the mustard. So, I mean, not really a great list of quarterbacks out there. So, I would say Kaepernick. I would definitely say that. Let's see. Drumstar says, think slashing the preseason game is going to kill that young Denver's team. I think we could win game one. Maybe. I mean, cutting the preseason to 2 games definitely hurts. Y'all keep getting them likes up. Y'all keep getting those likes up. We definitely need to work on that. But, I mean, yeah, I'm with Billy Scott. That's just as funny as saying go get Jake Locker out of retirement. So, I'm just going to say that. Let's see. Titan Up Low says Border won 2 playoff games. How many Logan won? Now, that's true. But you got to think, Titan Up Low, and we both know this. I know you know this. The defense for the Jacks at that time won those games. Blake Bortles ain't that good. Come on. Come on. Titan Up Low, I love you, man. I really do. You know I love you. And I got plenty of love for you, but we will just have to respectfully disagree. That much on that. But yeah, that was some good pick my brain right there. I appreciate y'all doing that. But now we're gonna quickly go into the high-low, to the new version, the high-low. And now we're gonna go into 3rd round picks for the Tennessee Titans. Because last week we did 1st rounders and we did 2nd rounders. Now we're going to do 3rd round picks that the Tennessee Titans have chosen. Zach Carpenter, what's going on? Glad to bring you in here. Titan Up Low says, I'm kidding. I figured that. I'm like, we here. We understand each other. We understand each other. So, that's something cool. But now let's get into the 3rd round picks that we chose for the Tennessee Titans. And this is since 2000. Okay. And so, first off, we have in 2000, we have Byron Fursk, defensive end from BYU, and Aaron Kinney, tight end from Florida. Aaron Kinney didn't have too many bad years with the team. He was actually pretty decent for the Titans. 2001, Shad Meyer, tight end out of Kansas State. Didn't really get to know him much. 2002, you had Rocky Kalmus, the linebacker from Oklahoma. Played a little bit, wasn't really great. You got in 2003, you had Chris Brown, running back from Colorado. Chris Brown was actually not that bad of a back until he got injured. Once he got injured, it kind of went downhill a little bit. And Titan Joseph Rodriguez, that's a good point. Matt Moore was Ryan Tannehill's backup with the Miami Dolphins. That's true. In 2004 was Rich Gardner, defensive back from Penn State. No clue. 2004, yeah, Randy. Also in 2004, yeah, Randy Starks, defensive tackle from Maryland. Played a little bit, didn't really pan out. In 2005, we went double receiver with Brandon Jones, wide receiver out of Oklahoma, and Courtney Roby, wide receiver out of Indiana. Nah, not really good. In 2006, we didn't have a pick. In 2007, we had Paul Williams, wide receiver from Fresno State. Didn't work out. 2008, Craig Stevens, tight end out of California. Actually had some pretty good years here. And I believe he is in retirement. And definitely did a very good job as a blocking tight end and caught a few passes for the Titans too. So Craig Stevens definitely is an underrated tight end on this team. And so, in 2009, we had Ryan Mouton, defensive back from Hawaii, and Jared Cook, tight end from South Carolina. And, of course, Jared Cook now is in New Orleans with Drew Brees. And in 2010, Rennie Curran, linebacker from Georgia, and Damian Williams, wide receiver from USC. So I want y'all to tell me, out of those picks, who was one of the better picks that we had in the 3rd round. I mean, Chris Brown, I think, kind of pops out. Craig Stevens does too, in my honest opinion with that. Al Pierce said Chris Brown had a major stiff arm against the Cowboys. Chris Fraser says Chris Brown, good. Kyle G says Randy Starks, good. Randy Starks was solid. was pretty solid. Chris Brown, I would say, also was pretty solid as well. Um, Brandon Jones, good. I mean, Brandon Jones was okay. I didn't really see a lot of him. So wouldn't really say there was a lot of that. Titan Upload said in 2009, we traded a 2010 second round pick to move up at the end of the third round to get Cook. That's right. We did trade up for Cook. I do remember that. And then, of course, Chris Fraser says Stevens, great. AZ Mix says Jared Cook, big guy. Lame Tube says, I do Ryan's cousin or something. I'm thinking you're talking about Ryan Mouton. Mouton stunk. He sucked as a corner. He sucked. I'm telling you. So I don't really know what to say about that. Jared Cook had potential to be very good. I just don't think he realized his potential as much. I mean, he had, maybe a decent year or two with the Raiders, and then now he's in New Orleans. So those are a couple of good picks right there with Chris Brown and Craig Stevens. Now let's go to the other side, and I think there are some way better picks on that side. We start in 2011, of course, the aforementioned Jarrell Casey, defensive tackle from USC. In 2012, Mike Martin, defensive tackle from Michigan. I remember him a little bit. 2013, Xavier Gooden, linebacker from Missouri. Nah. In 2013, we get crying, bleeding Ray Wilson, who basically, him and Ryan Mouton, two of the worst corners I have ever seen play for the Titans. In 2014, we did not have a pick. And really the stretch between 2013 and 2015, we had some terrible third-round picks with Gooden, Wilson, and Jeremiah Patasi at guard from Utah. I still remember Ken Wisenhunt trying to put him at tackle and having him block J.J. Watt one-on-one. And that game against Houston got Wisenhunt fired. Literally fired from that game. So, oh my God. I mean, sucks is Jeremiah Patasi. Then it gets better. In 2016, we get the mayor of Murfreesboro, Kevin Byard, safety of MTSU. Follow that up with Jonnu Smith in 2017, tight end out of Florida International, and Taywan Taylor, who didn't really pan out of Western Kentucky, wide receiver. We did not have a 2018 second round pick because I believe we traded up. We traded with that pick. We used that pick to trade up for Harold Landry. That's what happened. We used that pick to trade up for Harold Landry in 2018. 2019, of course, right here in the Music City, we got Nate Davis, the guard out of Charlotte. And just this past April in 2020, Darrington Evans, running back from Appalachian State. And those are all the third-round picks that the Titans have had since 2000. So now my question comes to all of you. Which draft pick do you rate as the high, the boom, and which one do you have as the low, the bust? And I think there are two that will stand above the rest as high boom. I think Craig Stevens could be a underrated boom. And I think Chris Brown, I'm not going to say boom, but he was solid. He definitely wasn't a bust. I definitely agree with that. Let's see. Lane 2 says, we will see if Evans can succeed. Henry. Kyle G says, Mike Martin, workout warrior. True. Al Pierce says, Jarrell Casey is high on the list. He will be a high on first round list. True. Let's see. Titans Mafia says, Jarrell Casey, Kevin Byard, home runs. Jonnu has potential. Evans, we will see. Jonnu, I think Jonnu is definitely coming. If he has a great year this year and gets re-signed, I think he definitely could qualify as a high. but I think it's pretty obvious. It's a tie. It's Jarrell Casey and Kevin Byard, without a doubt. Those are two highs, and I think Jonnu is going to be an underrated high if he has a great year this year, this upcoming season. And I think Chris Brown definitely is an underrated high as well. DeAndre says he had 100-yard games consistently in the first half of games. He ran straight up. And Chris Brown did have, I believe, one or two 1,000-yard seasons. So Chris Brown definitely was pretty good. I'm not going to say he wasn't. Absolutely not. But as far as the low and the bust, there are plenty to go around on that one. And I think everybody mentioned one. Bleedy Ray Wilson is definitely a bust. Definitely a low. Ryan Mouton joins him too, in my honest opinion, as a low also. And I mean, a lot of these guys, I'm just not familiar with. I mean, didn't even know they were on the team, to be honest. I mean, like Xavier Gooden and Jeremiah Patasi is definitely a low too. You got to put him down as a low. But a lot of these guys, I didn't even know they were on the team. Like Xavier Gooden, I forgot he was on the team. Rich Gardner, didn't even know he was on the team. Paul Williams, forgot he was on the team. Rennie Curran, forgot he was on the team. So, I mean, there were a lot of third-round picks that just didn't work out at all. And Al Pierce says Taywan Taylor couldn't catch. And Taywan Taylor, I think, could be a underrated low as well. Because, I mean, didn't do anything. Was supposed to come in and be our speed threat. Couldn't catch the ball to save his life. Plain and simple. Kyle G says Byard over Casey. Ducks. He ducks as he says that. Because some people might come at you for that. But definitely the highs are Jarrell Casey and Kevin Byard. The lows, I say, are Bleedy Ray Wilson, Ryan Mouton. Definitely. I definitely agree. Those are some lows right there. But now, with that being said, we get to the end of the show and we get to our blue bombshell. And our blue bombshell of the week, first off, is about the season tickets. And with that, because the news has come out that the Titans are going to refund single game tickets. Anybody that bought single game tickets, those will be refunded. And right now it's looking like, at the best case scenario, they're only going to allow season ticket holders into the stadium if they do as well. And it looks like they have to cover up the first 6 to 8 rows for protection. So again, it is not a foregone conclusion that fans will be allowed in the stadium at all, but it looks like single game tickets, if you bought a single game ticket, they're going to refund you. And also, I know the Tennessee Titans also could also have it where if you've been paying on your season tickets like myself, I believe they're suspending payments after July the 1st, right now. And you can either continue to pay if they let fans in, or they have the option of you can get a refund for your tickets, or you could take the money that you've already paid and just put it down for next year's season tickets for 2021. So if you opt out of this year, they'll let you opt back in for 2021 season. So, I mean, that's something that I'm definitely starting to think about. I mean, that's something that I'm definitely trying to consider when it comes to these games, because, I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to be there. I want to go. But at the same time, I want to be safe. And I want all of us to be safe as well. So, I mean, if we got to watch games on TV, no fans, I understand. Won't like it, but I understand with that. Also, another blue bombshell. Again, shout out to J-Rob and Paul Kaharski did the Facebook today, and they did it in honor of, I believe it was Safe Haven, which is in Nashville, which is a group that tries to help homeless families stay together and not get split up or anything like that. You know, they want to make sure that a mom is with their children or a father is with their children. Make sure that a husband and wife are together as well. They try to keep families together and things like that, and also to try to help them find shelter for themselves, so that way they can at least, you know, maybe try to get back on their feet and things like that, because we know some people are homeless and have fallen on hard times. I mean, these are some hard times with this coronavirus and things like that being out and stuff like that. So we got to support the homeless and definitely try to do some good by them with that. I mean, I gave a couple of dollars to a homeless lady. I was coming home today, coming home from the store earlier today. So I just thought it was the right thing to do. I had a pretty good day at work. I just thought I'd spread a little cheer as well. So shout out to J Rob and shout out to Paul Kaharski for what they're doing as far as for charity with that. But that is the blue bombshell of the week right there. But y'all, I definitely do appreciate all of y'all tuning in and everything. I see we got 22 viewers. Make sure y'all keep getting them likes up. I only see one, so I think we could definitely get more likes up. We could do better than that, y'all. I'm calling y'all out to help me help you out, because we're definitely going places. We got a lot of big things that are coming around the bend, and I want y'all to be ready for that. I want y'all to be excited for that. And so, once again, y'all, I think it is about that time that I get ready to call it a day. And I thank everybody again for tuning in to Titans and Truth. I'm your man, Chris, a.k.a. Blue Enforcer. And I'm going to play this in honor of wrestling tonight and in honor of the NXT North American champion and soon to be Keith Two Straps, because he's about to not only still be North American champion, he is about to also become the NXT champion. I think he's going to beat Adam Cole and take that title. We should all do what we're supposed to do and bask in the glory.
For he is limitless.
Good night, y'all. Tighten up, tighten tough, and we don't give in. Tighten up, don't lighten up. Good night, y'all. Tighten up. Make sure y'all follow the pages.